All right, Republicans have taken back control of the Senate, and leadership elections will be held next week. Joining us right now with what's at stake is West Virginia Republican Senator Shelley Capito, who is running for policy chair. That's the fourth-ranking position in the Senate. Right now, she's in the fifth-ranking position. Senator, thank you very much for being with us today. Obviously, a lot of plans are being put in place right now. What do you think will be the legislative goals that are first undertaken in this new administration?
Well, the good news here, because we've been preparing for this. I think a lot of us were very optimistic that President Trump would be reelected. And so we've been, over the summer, looking at ways that we can make substantive changes from the very beginning. So what I think that you'll see us doing, obviously, the tax cuts that we passed in 2017 are going to be coming up, and they are essential, I think, to getting this economy moving and going in the direction that the voters really, I think, demonstrated on Tuesday they wish it to go. So, but that is an all hands on deck, as you can imagine, because it's going to be a massive undertaking. And with the House hopefully retaining their majority, we're going to have the numbers to be able to do that. The other things that we've been doing is, for instance, I do a lot of work in the environment and transportation space, is to look out for the regulatory environment that has just been loaded up over the last 4 years, to streamline that, to dismantle a lot of the stuff that has been put in that really holds up progress, because we know that to be able to take advantage of our energy resources, we need good regulatory policies that actually promote the development of our energy resources, and President Trump talked about that. So we have had pre-discussions. We will begin them again as we return on Tuesday, and see how and what is possible, and certainly where President Trump wants to go first.
It sounds like you say President Trump is going to be leading this. Within the caucus, is there certainty about things that they would like to do first, that the Senate, in your caucus in the Senate, would like to do first, too? Or is this waiting for direction from the president-elect?
No, I think by pre-planning ahead through the summer, we've already established some of our priorities that really meld with what the president was talking about. Tax reform being one, of course, and unleashing our energy resources and stop the stymieing of our domestic development of energy. I think also the regulatory environment, particularly around the environment, has just been so, and the spending around that has just been so over the top. So dismantling a lot of that, I think that's what we'll look at first. Critically important is going to be the nomination process. We're hoping that the president can get nominees before us so that he can hit the ground running when he takes the oath of office. And that's going to be a very important part of that January workspace.
Is there consensus in your caucus around immigration? I didn't hear that on the list.
You know, thank you for reminding me. Immigration obviously is top of the list. The president, I think, when he was in 2016 to 2020, made significant steps towards lowering those numbers, to making the process better, to keeping. We wouldn't have 10 million undocumented folks in this country right now, as we have for the Biden administration. So, yes, we will go to immigration rather quickly, and I think that you'll see results will occur, because I think the deterrence factor that President Trump brings with the policies will be a part of where you see those numbers coming down dramatically.
We are looking at the House races still. There's about 39 seats that have not been called yet. I think Republicans are probably feeling more optimistic about maintaining control of the House than the Democrats are in terms of taking it at this point. But what does that mean? And how much of a majority is needed in order to get things through? Because the last couple of years, there's not been much that's made it through the House, even with the Republicans leading.
You know, it is very significant. And I know sometimes inside baseball, or how we work, is sometimes difficult to understand, because the Senate usually has a 60-vote threshold. But with the president being Republican, the House and the Senate, that through our budget reconciliation, we have to get a budget through, we can then move, which is what we did in 2017, we can then move policies on a simple majority in the Senate. And not every policy, but a lot of policy statements. And so I think that's where the significance of the House majority is going to really come into play. In terms of numbers, the bigger the better, obviously. And I'm just pleased that I'm going to be a chairman and that we're going to have control over the agenda in the United States Senate to help President Trump move through where obviously he had a very overwhelming grassroots effort to say we want policies that help us and make our lives better.
We are going to be joined by Senator John Thune coming up a little later in the program. Who are you supporting for Majority Leader?
Well, it's a really difficult choice. There are three men who are going to succeed Senator McConnell. I think that everybody has great strengths. I'm not going to weigh in on one or the other. They're all good friends with everybody. That's kind of part of the problem. But I think we will sort it out. We will have a strong leader. We have to have a strong leader, not just to support the president, but also to fight back and to defend the conservative policies the American people demanded on Election Day. And a lot of that has to do with fiscal responsibilities. And that's a tough fight when you have a 60-vote threshold, but also when Senator Schumer, who's been the leader, is going to be there pushing us every single day. So we need somebody that can take the arrows for us.
Yeah, thank God we have a 60-vote threshold. Don't take it for granted.
I don't. No, it is good, and I've been one of those that's been in the thought that the filibuster is exceedingly important, no matter who and is the president. It is exceedingly important for the best policies for the country, no
Senator,
doubt.
someone was joking yesterday and said Republicans could get rid of the filibuster, add 10 30-year-old conservative judges to the Supreme Court and stack it for the next 80 years. I mean, it's just a thought.
Well,
one party might do that. I think it's an idea.
Well, here's what got me about the whole filibuster discussion. I mean, we signed a letter. I signed a letter during with several other Republicans and a lot of Democrats in, I believe, 2017, 2018, when President Trump was president before, and said, let's preserve the filibuster. I mean, this is for the long haul here. This is not what happens tomorrow. And the Democrats walked away from that, all of them, except for Manchin and Sinema. And so I think that, I don't think we're going to have a huge discussion around this because I think we have so much on our plate. There may be pressures from externally to eliminate the filibuster and go big. But what would happen 4 years later? It happens over and over again.
That was a joke. That was sarcasm. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Don't worry, Joe. We will not be doing that.
It should be hard to pass laws. It should be hard. You should need both sides to pass big laws.
It shouldn't swing.
Yeah, you should have.
Swing,
agreed.
just depending on who has a majority.
The swings are very harmful, and we're not going to do that. I can pretty much guarantee you that.
Senator Capito, thank you for joining us.
She got the memo, the red memo.
As we mentioned.